This fantasy football top 10 quarterbacks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Bird Dog Shorts. Dominate summer with an amazing pair of shorts and a free Yeti-style tumbler when you order over at birddogs.com/pool. That's birddogs.com/POOL.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Woo! Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Viva Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas. Yes, we are coming to you live from the Blue Wire Studios here at the Wynn. It's NFL time. We're here talking fantasy football, kicking off our top 10 fantasy football series. It's great. We're just going to walk through quarterbacks, tight ends, receivers, running backs, giving out our top 10. And football is back. As far as I'm concerned, football
What do
is
you
back.
mean it's back?
Football never left. Let's be honest.
We and just leading by example here as Sherpas for people who like to have good times.
Yes.
Go to Vegas to do your fantasy draft.
Oh, 100%.
Why not? What else are you going to do? It puts the fantasy in fantasy football.
Yeah, if you're doing your fantasy draft online, like what's the point of even having a fantasy draft if you're not going to make it a destination?
Oh, wow.
Go there. Go to Vegas. Vegas is the perfect place for a fantasy draft. Come out here, get hammered.
That'd be pretty funny. It's like a normal like rando best ball like underdog league, but it's 12 random people. They come to Vegas and they have to opt into like a full day of obstacles before the draft.
Oh yes, I saw a video of these guys. They went to like Cancun or something. They did a big group trip.
Yeah.
They had an obstacle course to decide the draft, and
nice.
It's just fantasy football season, Ryan. It doesn't get any better. And of course, it's summer, which means one, getting jacked up for football, and two, rocking your Bird Dog shorts. Love my Bird Dog shorts. Again, keep me cool, keep me dry. I think I've lost track of how many days straight I've rocked these Bird Dog shorts. Look at these things, are just amazing. Can we get a wide shot?
There we go.
All right. Love my Bird Dogs. They're just great. What more do you want in a pair of shorts? It feels like you're wearing nothing. Love my Bird Dog shorts. You get the free tumbler. It's just a great way to enjoy summer. Birddogs.com/pool. Enter promo code POOL for a free Yeti-style tumbler. Birddogs.com/pool for a free tumbler. You don't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. What's up, guys? Shout out to people in the hallway, Ryan. They must have seen me showcasing my shorts here.
I think they're maybe here a little early for the Thunder Down Under show.
Yes. All right.
That's what I'm here for.
Top 10 fantasy football quarterbacks. We were debating this before the show. Do we want to start with our number one quarterback?
My opinion, we've been doing this all wrong our entire lives.
Okay.
There's no hot takes at the top. Like the hot takes that we've crowbarred into the top in the past, while you would argue you've been successful at those.
Yes.
I don't think it creates the same teaser as a typical top 10 reverse countdown list.
Well, I think
this isn't Casey Kasem.
I think it's interesting because if we start at 1 and go to 10, then the big reveal is who didn't make our list, who's on the bubble, who did we leave out.
That's a better conversation.
We're slowly revealing who is not on our top 10 quarterbacks for the 2023 season. I'm going to start off my number one. You'll never guess it. Jalen Hurts, baby. Why not Jalen Hurts? Highest per game average in 2022, Ryan. The tush push, still legal.
Legal.
Not in all states, but in the NFL, the tush push is legal.
Not my school, Sean.
Miles Sanders, Ryan. Miles Sanders, 11 rushing touchdowns up for grabs. I know they like Kenny Gainwell on the goal line. I know they brought in DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny. But still, like that is there's a chance he gets more rushing touchdowns. And going into the season, we could see Jalen Hurts. Every year he's played football, he's gotten better as a passer. Every year he's in the NFL, he's thrown for more passing yards per attempt. He continues to get better. And you look at the schedule, like they have some legit shootout games. They have a game against the Chiefs. I mean, you saw what he did against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They have a game against the Bills. That could be a shootout style game. Lots of opportunities for high scoring affairs. 20 red zone rushing attempts inside. 20 rushing attempts inside the 5 last year. That's insane, and that number could go up. I just don't see how you can't be on Jalen Hurts. Again, 750 rushing yards in each of the last 2 seasons. His passing profile could increase. All in on Jalen Hurts, as you'd imagine, right?
So I would love to disagree with you, but the Miles Sanders thing is interesting because I think there's enough volatility there where you can almost just pencil in some positive regression for Jalen Hurts in the goal line carries, even though he had a great year. Well, that front,
Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, are either one of those guys goal line backs?
Penny, if he's healthy,
maybe,
but they're already. But the fantasy community is already out there talking about how little the Eagles have invested to Penny relative to the other guys.
But that's
Boston Scott still on the roster for the 2 games against the Giants.
yeah. But I'm saying still Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell they do use on the goal line. Kenny Gainwell actually. I have a sweet nugget here from the research team. He was up there as far as guys who got stopped on the 1 and didn't score a touchdown 4 times this year, kind of higher up there. So he could be due for some regression there, and that's why he's an interesting best ball back. But I think he could have – we could see more rushing upside from Jalen Hurts. It's crazy.
That's the reason why you love him. Also, something I tracked for all the quarterbacks last year, Sean.
Yes.
Outlier games, or we'll call it stud games. So Jalen Hurts only second to Patrick Mahomes in games where he scored over 30. I think this is something you have to look at. Games where he scored over 19, again, solid days. How many times did he lay an egg? 12 out of 17. How many times did he go under 15? 5 games out of 17. When you have to look a little closer, one of those games was for rest, 2 were injuries. That's 2 out of 17. What does that tell you? Low variance. There's a high floor here. Yeah. There's still a high ceiling. As much as I'd like to give you a hot take with a different guy, number 1, the take here is injury. It's the same thing. We're like, if you think he's going to get hurt, which he did last year, he missed some games. He still ended up being number 3 overall in fantasy points. Number 1 if you look at a per game basis.
Yes.
I can't do it. He ticks all the boxes, and I think the thing that got me over the edge was Miles Sanders being gone.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've hit on that enough in our best ball drafts.
Can I say something else? I think the defense won't be as good, and they'll have to be relied on a bit more than they were last year.
And even if you think the defense is still going to be pretty good, how
often were they in a negative game script last year?
Right. At the very least, they're playing a harder schedule. They're playing a first place schedule. So
I simply think defense regressed a little bit. Offense asked to do more, creates more opportunities. Whatever regression happens in the rushing game, I think gets made up for either by goal line carries or additional, maybe he does progress again in the passing game.
Breaking news. We just hit the over on regression mentions in our fantasy football
we unfortunately
number
agree.
1, Jalen Hurts. Let's go.
Unfortunately agree.
Why don't you go number 2, Kramer?
Number 2 is to me very easy, and I almost made him number 1, and it would be a hot take in the fantasy community because this guy doesn't have what it takes to generally be ranked at the top of people's rankings. And what is that we talk about? Legs. Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Again, almost made him number 1. Thought it would be funnier if I just came on and agreed with your Jalen Hurts take. Also, the metrics match up. Now, those same metrics, right? Big games, 30 points or more. Patrick Mahomes led the NFL 5. How many times did he score more than 19? The reason I picked 19 puts you as basically a QB1 for that week. How many times was Patrick Mahomes a QB1 or score more than 19 points? 14 out of 17 weeks. And how many times did he fuck you by scoring less than 15? 0.
Yeah, no, I mean,
so
he's good.
I almost think he's a safer pick if you factor in ADP right now. He's the safe pick at the high end of the quarterback market because he doesn't possess the same injury risk. Sure, he had a high ankle sprain, but he's not relying on his legs like these other guys are.
I'm surprised a lot. I mean, again, he put out news on that ankle. I'm surprised he's going to be able to walk. He's just a heroic figure, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, Sean.
I mean, him hamming up the ankle injury 4 months later is a bit much. I actually have Patrick Mahomes as my third fantasy quarterback, Ryan. I'm with you again. To me, the biggest takeaway from Patrick Mahomes is they lost Tyreek Hill and he didn't miss a beat. He set a career high in passing yards without Patrick Mahomes. 52-50 passing yards, 41 passing touchdowns. I guess the only thing, he's not going to get you much rushing touchdowns. They don't do the sneak ever since he dislocated his knee. That's really the only kind of knock on it.
It doesn't matter.
No, I'm saying I that's why I have him number 3.
So
I think he's going to be really high.
With the numbers I gave out, and on top of that, it's like last year he was first overall, second in points per game without running. He doesn't have the basement. There's no basement games.
Yes.
He never scored less than 15 points, and he has the same ceiling. This is obvious to me, and I think when I went and looked at my exposure in best ball. I have more Patrick Mahomes than I do Jalen Hurts right now, which tells me I like Mahomes better at the ADP than I like Hurts. Who's your third guy?
Well,
Ryan,
here's
your second guy.
We skipped over my second. You know him, Ryan. You love him.
Vanilla Vic.
Justin Fields. That's right. He's the third quarterback ever to get 1,000 rush yards. And I know
it feels spicy.
I bring the spice. I'm not just going to copy and paste someone's, Fantasy Pros ADP. That is not the kind of show we do here, Ryan. I know everyone's going to come in and say, oh, he's going to be throwing the ball more. Not so fast. Yes, they're going to be calling more passing plays. But if you've watched Justin Fields, is he the most comfortable guy in the pocket? No. Does he panic a decent amount when he's back there? Yes. More opportunities to panic equal more QB scrambles. That's where he gets all his yards. 5th in points per game last year. No David Montgomery. I think Cole Kmet also was kind of an outlier as far as red zone touchdowns last year. I think Justin Fields can get some of those. 25 red zone carries, 10 inside the 5. League high 7.1 yards per carry. And again, when trying to win a fantasy league, you need those spikes weeks. Obviously, in best ball, it's really important, but especially in managed leagues as well, it's still important. He had multiple 40-point games, so
only a handful of less than a half dozen 40-point games last year, and he had 2 of them. Tua had 1 too, for what it's worth.
No,
I mean, if you want to, be careful with that one. I think Justin Fields is the classic case of what can be. And people see the potential positives, and they look past the fact that there could be the basement could be low.
I still don't think their defense is completely fixed either. Like some of this,
when you go out and sign 2 interior linebackers, it tells me you're going to play a more conservative blend of defense, which means you're probably you're going to give your offense fewer opportunities.
I still think their defense isn't fixed. I still think he has the ability to create turnovers, which in some cases, a la Jameis Winston, helps you in fantasy because it gets your offense out on the field more, especially if there's some pick 6 stuff in there. So I'm in on Justin Fields, Ryan. No surprise there. Like I said, Patty Mahomes is my number 3. Who is your number 3?
Well, I wanted to throw shade at Josh Allen so horribly. I want to throw shade at the team because they obviously – it's starting to actually look to be true that Brian Dable was a meaningful member of that staff. Diggs now upset because Josh Allen doing stuff off the field. Diggs upset because he restructured the contract and D-Hop didn't show up.
What is the rumor? I still haven't gotten an answer. We've asked the Don of Bills Mafia, Adam Pelletier, hey, what's the deal with going on with the Bills? And supposedly one of the other things is he wasn't Stephon Diggs wasn't happy with how Josh Allen played in that Bengals game. Apparently there was some issues with him and his now ex-girlfriend. potentially rumors swirling, and maybe that impacted his play on the field. It's also weird, like if you're good friends with a guy, he's giving you advice on your relationship and telling you what you should and shouldn't do. Yeah, and then they're getting super emotional, and then he held out, but he didn't hold out, but it wasn't about football. Like, well, what the fuck was it about? If your job is football and you don't show up at your job, what is it about? There is a lot of weird shit going on in Buffalo.
And all of the weird shit will give me pause for the overall success of the team.
Yes.
But what do we know more than anything else when things start to go south? What does Josh Allen do?
Runs the ball.
Puts the team on his fucking back.
The old Josh Allen, Ryan. The old Josh Allen. Before he started dating celebrities, before he turned into TMZ Josh Allen, before he got too big for Buffalo, I don't have him in my top 4, Ryan. I have him slightly below.
Okay.
I'll break it. I'll break the news now. I got Josh Allen number 5 as my fantasy football quarterback.
Okay.
I think to me, the reason is Sean McDermott, I think, is going to limit his carries inside the 5. It was 11 last year, and I expect that to go down.
I don't think you limit Josh Allen.
Oh, talk to Sean McDermott. I think they've lost their way as an offense without Brian Dable. Yeah. I think there's serious chemistry issues in the locker room. I think he's going to lose some of those rushing touchdowns that he had previously. So again, I to your point, I'm not completely out on him. I just have him at 5.
You want to hear the data?
Sure.
30-point games. Again, where is the ceiling? How often does it show up? There's a clear tier of Hurts, Mahomes, and Allen when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Hard to ignore. Also, consistency. 19-point games. How often is he a QB1? 14 out of 17 games last year. 14 out of 17 games last year. And the last bit, how often does he fuck you? If we throw away the Cincinnati game that didn't actually happen, only one time did he score less than 15 points. It's hard to look past that because everything you discuss with Fields and the ceiling and all of that, like that's what Allen is every year. And even if he regresses back a couple rushing touchdowns, I think the volatility in the offense is going to lead to him doing more and him having to do more and us having more magical live betting experiences with the Buffalo Bills as Josh Allen
they're a roller
throws the
coaster.
ball away. So yeah, I wanted to get him out of here, and again, I looked at the exposure. Josh Allen, I have more of than Hurts as well at the current ADP. So go figure.
Go figure. Yeah, I'm just slightly lower on Allen. So who's your number 4 then?
Number 4, and I think these guys are very close, but number 4 is Lamar.
Okay.
And it's the obvious bounce back. I'm a Lamar guy. I think when you're looking at my quarterback tiers, you have that top tier, explosive, has the opportunity. I think you have then the next tier, which is the Lamar Justin Fields tier, which they have all the tools to get it done. They have the athleticism. They check the boxes of they can score with their feet. And I think the reason Lamar is ahead of Justin Fields is because I do think this Todd Monken offense is going to be faster. I think they're going to play with more pace. I think he has objectively more passing weapons than he's ever had. And if anything, I think, the idea that the defense wouldn't be there as much as it's been in the past, maybe we're seeing couple more shootouts there in the AFC North with the way the Browns, the Steelers, and the Bengals are shaping up. So all of that sprinkled in the abbreviated season last year where he missed a bunch of time due to injury and holding out for a new contract on the advice of his agent, Lamar, he still went over 30 points twice. Again, how often does the ceiling come? Still went there twice. How many games over 19? 5 of 17, but again, he missed a lot due to injury, and those under 15 games, 7 of 17, I think 6 of those, maybe all 7 actually, were due to holdout or injury. I just think we're getting to push him too far down your board. You're getting cute. And I think when it comes again, proof is in the pudding, when I'm drafting these best ball teams, it gets much easier to click Lamar because he's now going a couple rounds after the big dogs. You go to the high stakes stuff, Sean, Lamar's going right up there near the top, right with Hurts. So I love Lamar. I think he's kind of a clear number 4 to me, and there's a little gap here between the top 3 guys and everyone else. So Lamar, number 4, bounce back season, got paid. Now he's got to show out with his arm.
I got Lamar noticeably farther down, Ryan. Maybe I'll just.
It's an injury take then. It's an injury.
Well,
take.
You'll have to stay tuned.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess just to piggyback it, because you already talked about it, Justin Fields, I do have him 5th. I have been drafting
Well,
him.
can I do my 4th guy?
Yeah, you can go 4th.
Joe Burrow. I got Joe Burrow.
All right.
Is this a spicy
No,
take?
I like this.
Joe Burrow, I obviously just confirmed dog. And you look at the back-to-back years, he started off slow. Some of it's just like, hey, the Bengals, they start off slow. That's their thing. Is it their thing? Or is it one, there was a year where Joe Burrow was coming off an ACL, or two, he was coming off losing his appendix, and he was completely weak and took a lot for him.
Beta move, getting your appendix out.
I mean,
real pussy.
He had lost a ton of weight. He missed a bunch of training camp. He's coming in with a chip on his shoulder with 2 great receivers, obviously in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
No, don't lie. 3. You're a big Boyd guy.
Tyler Boyd, love him. And he sneakily added some rushing upside last year. He had 5 rushing touchdowns. He's peppering in those rushing touchdowns, and I think that it will be enough to jump him over Josh Allen. I'm going to say it right now, Joe Burrow has more rushing touchdowns than Josh Allen. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Ryan. Love Joe Burrow as a guy, as a dude. So give me Joe Burrow. If we want to talk about dogs, you feel good having him in your lineup.
All right, good transition, because I did just make a slight tweak, because I'm also a big Burrow guy. I think he really pops in the numbers that we were talking about. Again, how often does the big ceiling come? 3 times last year, went over 30. Finished 4th in overall points and average points per game, consistency. Again, only 10 out of 17 games did he go over 19 points. That kind of stands out to me. But like you said, there was a slow start in there. And here's why I like him. Only went under 15 points 3 times. Sean.
Yeah.
And again, there was an abbreviated game in there. But that's the kind of stuff where what got him over the top for me is also in these best ball drafts, 100% if I've drafted Chase or Higgins, I'm drafting Burrow, and I end up with Chase if I have the 2nd pick, Higgins if I have a tail end pick in the 1st round or 2nd round. And I find it, again, pretty easy to take Burrow. I actually made a late swap there, put him in over Justin Fields, because I think we're kind of in the spirit of the show talking about a managed league. I think consistency matters a lot in those, and I think to your point on why he might not start slow this year, if he doesn't start slow, that 10 out of 17 number very easily gets the Mahomes number of like 14 out of 17, and he brings that same level of consistency 2 or 3 rounds later.
Ryan, Joe Burrow, 5 rushing touchdowns last year. Lamar Jackson, 5 rushing touchdowns in his past 2 years. Just a little note there for you.
I'm not with you on the Burrow rushing angle.
Okay. So that's just an outlier to you.
Yeah, I think if you're going to say Josh Allen regresses back towards the mean on rushing touchdowns, maybe Burrow does as well.
Disagree. I think Burrow's just a crafty guy. I think he's going to be 2 years removed off that ACL. I don't think he minds using his mobility. All right, we're going to get to the second half of our top 10 fantasy football quarterbacks. Before we do that, got to shout out Underdog Fantasy. We've been doing a million of these Underdog Fantasy best ball drafts, and why not? $15 million in prizes up for grabs. Are you kidding me? Again, $25 entry for Best Ball Mania 4. Millions and millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs. I mean, we're talking about
$700 billion and $1.3 trillion.
It's a lot of cash just for firing off on these best ball drafts. Best ball is the best way to do fantasy. You don't have to manage a league the entire season. You could just draft, aka the most fun part. Set it and forget it.
Sean,
and
they just launched the Chihuahua, a $4 contest.
Yeah, and they have $4 contests. Again, why would you be doing a mock draft when you can do a $4 best ball contest? If you're just like, hey, I want to see where people are drafting, why not do it for like $4 or $5? Instead, I mean, you should be just doing it for $25. Come on.
A couple years back at the Fantasy Expo, we were doing a thing. We were doing some networking, and it was like one end of the room having a conversation with these old people that are like, "Who the fuck has time for a mock draft? That's you got life to live." And then you walk to the other side of the room, and it's just kids like, "Hey, bro, you want to hop on the next mock draft stream?" And it's like, oh man,
no more mock drafts. Do the best ball. Also, great place to get down on some pick'em, aka season-long player props. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. 100% deposit match up to $100. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
Well, I assume you're prepared with that rushing total. Oh man, they're not actually dangling a Joe Burrow rushing. Oh, here it is. Joe Burrow rushing touchdowns next year is 3 on Underdog right now. Lamar and Josh Allen both 6.5. So I'd say that's a pretty spicy take. 3.5 touchdowns and a quarterback touchdown rushing market. Yeah,
let's go.
All right, so you've given out your top 5.
Yes.
I've given out my top 5. 6 is Justin Fields for me. So
okay.
We'll get that out of the way real quick. It's almost impossible to ignore the guys who have a track record of production in the NFL and legs and are potentially going to be scoring touchdowns with their legs. And so Justin Fields, like I would be getting way too spicy to give him the Anthony Richardson treatment and just completely kick him out. The reason he's down at 6 for me, and I haven't really. I've drafted a lot more Lamar, Josh, Patrick, Jalen, and Joe Burrow than him is because his floor is just scary. Not only that, he went over 30 points twice, and that's what people will cite. His ceiling is so high. He had those 2 40-point games. I think that was the best 2-game stretch, and I think he owns also the best 4-game stretch last year. But only 2 games over those 30 points. 5 of his 17 went under 15 points. Only 8 of his games was he a QB1. So 2 huge games, only 6 other games where he was even a QB1. That's what scares me. I think there will be some variance with him. I think some people in the fantasy community believe that his passing positive regression will pick up for whatever garbage yardage he gained on the ground because he was in some glorious blowouts last year. I do think the defense takes a step forward. That's why I dropped him to 6th. I do think that he has of the guys we've discussed, he has the most obvious scary floor in that he could. If he doesn't take a step forward, we're hoping to get what we got last year, which is a horrible defense and him running all over the field. I don't think that happens. So he's still number 6 for me. I definitely have him less than the 5 guys above.
For me, number 6, boat trip him or not the boat trip. Jared Goff sucks island coming in at number 6.
Oh Jesus!
This to me. They play a ton of games in the Dome. He has a very good receiving core. They give him a very easy offense. No rushing ability. I think the defense still isn't fixed in my opinion. But again, like it's hard not to project that he's going to just be throwing a ton, getting a ton of easy stuff to Jahmyr Gibbs, ton of easy check down stuff. Like the offense is set up for him to have a bunch of yards, a bunch of easy throws, easy points. I don't think Jared Goff is good.
Where did he finish last year, Sean?
In points?
I can pull it up if you don't have it.
I don't have it right in front of me.
All right, let's see. He finished 10th in total points last year. That number, he drops a bit if you go to average, but.
Yeah, I think he's going to. I just think that offense is going to continue to improve, and I still have a ton of questions about their defense. So I think they're going to be in high-scoring games, and I think him racking up a ton of yards, even some passing touchdowns, makes sense.
So of the quarterbacks outside my top 10, Goff is one of the 3 who possess a 30-point game from last year. So I don't hate the take. I'm only drafting Jared Goff on teams where I've already got the receivers.
Yeah.
I'll say that, which tells me in my head I don't like him that much. And I think for a long time on this show, we've built a brand. We've generated some nice ROI over on Jared Goff Sucks Island. So I don't know what the fuck you're doing here, putting Jared. This might be the
6.
hottest take of the season.
Come on, 6?
Yeah, I mean, there are guys that still have Yes, this is a hot take. This is very.
What
hot.
do you got, Ryan?
This is hotter than anything else you've
really?
Said. Jared Goff, number 6. It's just not a fun. It's just his ceiling is maybe 6. I'll give you that. 7, Justin.
Oh yeah,
go. Yeah, 7 is Justin Herbert for me.
Okay.
Herbert is one of the guys who stands out like Lamar as clear bounce back candidate. Here's what scared me a little bit. when I dove into the numbers, and I know the offense is completely changing, and we're very excited about it, I'm probably way too optimistic on it. And if I'm being objective, there's some numbers here that will give me concern as to why I have him at number 7. No 30-point games. 19-point games, only 6 of 17. Games under 15 points, 7 of 17. Now, the case is that the offense was – it's pretty public, but the offense was not really trying to throw the ball down the field. It resembled a Jason Garrett-style offense.
Yes.
We see what happens when Jason Garrett exits and a progressive thinker steps in. I think that's what we have here in San Diego, a.k.a. Los Angeles. And I think I'm drafting too much of Justin Herbert to not believe in him as my number 7 quarterback. I think he has a tremendous ceiling. I think he has the Mahomes ceiling in terms of what he can do from a ceiling floor combination. What I worry about is that I've bought too much into the offensive changes.
Yeah.
And it's the same fucking problems because Justin Herbert's the problem. I'm not believing that yet. I think he's got plenty of weapons to go around. He's got a beautiful wide receiving core with Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, the rookie Quentin Johnston. He's still got Everett. He's got Austin Eckler, who is good for probably another 100-catch season, which means he's going to squeak in some passing touchdowns there. I can't not like Justin Herbert. And to your point earlier, you brought it up with a couple of your guys, the shootout potential in some of the games.
Yeah, I see the case for Justin Herbert.
The defense takes a step back. That's the other big step. They're a very shallow defense. I think they have some stars that people focus on, but we saw it last year. What did Justin Decker always say? It's Khalil Mack, Derwin James, and a bunch of other guys.
Bosa's got to stay healthy.
So,
Justin Herbert on the bubble for me, Brian. I did not have him in
fair.
my top 10 fantasy football quarterback. I'm a big yards per attempt guy, and 7.5 down to 6.8. The touchdowns, 38 to 25. I get he was dealing with that rib injury. Maybe that caused him to check it down a little bit more. But there was just so much aggressiveness in Justin Herbert's game in his rookie year and in that second year. And a lot of that was lost in year 3. That to me, as a guy who is, primarily a pocket passer, not much of a runner, that to me is pretty worrisome. 0 rushing touchdowns last year. It's a red flag for me.
Here's my hot take. Herbert has more rushing touchdowns than Burrow this year.
Okay.
Herbert has better legs. I think he has more rushing potential than Burrow.
But I don't think Herbert's a willing rusher.
I think they are going from an offensive philosophy. I watched my Giants come out of this, where you go from an ultra conservative mindset to doing stuff, and you see the way it starts to change the offense. I think the difference here is I think Herbert has a natural mentality to be aggressive, and they're just going to let that go. And you're going to be bummed out when you're like, oh, God damn it. Herbert's back. He's back from the Sims when he had that beautiful arm talent.
I'm fine not having a ton of Justin Herbert in best ball and managed leagues.
Who's your 7th?
7th, you know him, you love him.
You like that? You like that?
Kirky Cousins.
Wow.
You can only be so bad in fantasy football when you have Justin Jefferson. You play a bunch of games in the dome. TJ Hawkinson gave him a nice boost. I am a little concerned that the defense may end up being better with the addition of Brian Flores as defensive coordinator.
I think it has to get. The more I've evaluated this take, we at the beginning of the offseason, we said, oh, well, they've lost some players. They might actually be worse. I do think having someone like Brian Flores means your defense will only be so bad because it's going to be relatively conservative compared to what you were doing in the past. In terms of you're going to play defense, you're not just going to sit back and let the other team do whatever they want.
Another year in the offense for Kirk Cousins. No Dalvin Cook.
Another contract year.
Yeah, another contract year.
7 straight contract years.
Racking up contract years. He's right here with Jared Goff. I gave Jared Goff the slight bump. But yeah, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff to me are neck and neck. They're guys that just aren't on great teams, aren't going to win a bunch of playoff games, but they'll get you a shit ton of passing yards. They'll get you some passing touchdowns. I don't know what I think the Vikings will be throwing a little bit more maybe near the goal line. I don't know what their goal line plan is. I think TJ Hawkinson, getting him involved in the red zone more, is going to lead to some more passing touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, and we'll get to this when we talk receivers, he actually ran pretty cold as far as expected receiving touchdowns. So I think we could see Kirk Cousins beat his passing touchdowns from last year. So yeah, give me Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I think the case against Kirk Cousins is that it was kind of an optimal year from a lot of other randomness, whether it's the defense being atrociously bad, the way that they had some of those games and created all these opportunities for stats to be gathered. I don't hate Kirk Cousins. He's not in my top 10. How much money has Kirk Cousins made in his 11-season career?
Oh man, it's got to be like 250 million.
201 million, not including this year.
Okay, so it's going to be close though, because isn't he getting? He's got to be getting like 35 this year.
30 million, I think is his contract.
That's oh my god, and he's never had anywhere close to an MVP season. I mean, how many playoff games has he won? One.
Yeah, he once, remember when he kneeled the ball instead of spiking it?
Oh, I'll never forget that. Eagles still lost that game. I'll never. Fucking Chip Kelly.
And Kirk Cousins, he did finish, again, he played every game, so he finished 7th in overall fantasy points last year. Same as before. The average drops it a little bit further down. My concern is that we saw the ceiling from Kirk Cousins last year. I heard your Jefferson touchdown regression, and I think on some level, if you think Jefferson is going to be that
but
great,
I don't even know if it was the ceiling, because he only had 29 passing touchdowns. You look at the previous years, 33, 35. I think there's a world where he gets in the high 30s.
You're right. What I'm saying is from like just pure volume. I think the way that and the leverage in a lot of those games was not like a lot of those stats were gained in lower leverage situations. I don't know. I think there was a lot of 2-minute drill type stuff as well. I'm betting that he takes a step back, and I'm also reflecting on the fact that I don't ever find myself drafting Kirk Cousins unless I had the first pick in the draft and drafted Justin Jefferson.
1-4 Kirk Cousins in the playoffs. Kramer, who do you got for number 8?
It's Vanilla Vic time. I'm wearing the threads.
Oh, wearing 8.
Wearing the threads, 4-8. It's 8 for 8. Dan Jones, a.k.a. Danny Dimes, a.k.a. Daniel Jones, a.k.a. DJ as his teammates call him, Vanilla Vic as Michael Vick called him, or Tiki Barber, that piece of shit. Listen, I've been dishing out 30-point games. Dan Jones did have one of those.
Okay.
Dan Jones had 7 games under 15 points, 5 of which were before the bye. Obviously, the offense was changing through the season. We saw it. They finally got a little bit of wide receiver stability down the stretch, and that's where you saw him have most of his success. He finished overall, Sean, last year, average points per game and total points per game, 9th. That was in a season where he was learning a new offense, not playing particularly well before the bye. That would lead me to believe. And by the way, does he use his legs? Yes, he checks that box. Could he potentially score some touchdowns with his legs? Yes, if he avoids the turf monster.
It doesn't trip on the line.
It
Ryan,
seems like we're
news,
talking about a guy who his floor is what he did last year. Okay. You're going to tell me how few passing touchdowns he has.
Yes, not a lot of passing touchdowns.
Floor is what happened last year, 9th overall. So that's the table stakes. He checks all the rushing boxes of he can create these the hidden yards.
Well, that's when they have Saquon back there. But I don't know if I
can't. I mean,
Ryan, come on.
Let's wager.
You're so easy to get fired up.
I'm not fired up.
The 7 rushing touchdowns.
Cold take.
The 7 rushing touchdowns feels like a bit of an outlier historically for Dan Jones.
Why?
Because he previously had 5 in his entire career, the previous 3 years.
His legs were never featured as part of the. I mean, it's a completely different offense. You can say there'll be some touchdown regression on the ground, and I'm not going to argue with you that his rushing touchdown total should probably be 5.5.
Yeah,
a tick lower than Justin Fields, a tick lower than Lamar, probably a tick lower than Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. But I think he's going to be just as involved in the goal line experience. I think they've clearly upgraded their receiving room. You can joke and call it a bunch of Ferraris. I
didn't joke. That's what they called.
They went from having no speed to legitimate speed. Paris Campbell,
That's the Ferraris, right?
as your boy Baldy noted, he was clocked with the fastest time in the NFL last year. He's now on the team.
I think that offense for the Giants, I think, again, surprised some people, caught people off guard as a team as well. I think there's going to be some adjustments. I think people will be able to know how to play what they did last year a little bit better. I think it's going to be a little tougher going for the Giants offense this year.
Yeah, and my counter would be if you look at the last 4 games Dan Jones played last season, he had 3 absolute fucking gems, and then a game against a very good Eagles defense where he did not show up very well in a tough second round of the playoff situation, where we've seen other quarterbacks who have then gone on to take a step forward the following year, especially in fantasy football. So I was referring to Jalen Hurts there. He showed up in the playoffs that year too. So, but he closed his strongest games were down the stretch. So those adjustments, whatever you want to talk about, you don't think there's going to be adjustments on adjustments? And oh, by the way, we went this deep into this, and we didn't even talk about new tight end, formerly of the Las Vegas Raiders. His jersey, just feet from where we're sitting, signed beautifully, wearing the number 12. Sean, he has a number 1 target. They updated the receivers around him, and your only argument is Saquon won't be there.
No, I think they kind of had a perfect season. I think you kind of saw Dan Jones' ceiling last year, and I think he's not going to be able to beat his rushing totals that he had last year.
Okay,
and I think you got to get to. For me, if I'm putting you in your top,
you're making the same. You made the argument for Fields, and you're not making it for Dan Jones.
Yeah. Oh, correct. 100%. Because
we
have a longer.
Just so we're on the record, Justin Fields will progress as a passer.
A little bit, yeah. But mostly it's about Justin Fields continuing to run and running at a high level.
And you don't think you saw the best of his running last year relative to Dan Jones?
I think he can slightly increase his opportunities running. I as far as plays itself, maybe that was his ceiling. Yeah, but I think there's still opportunity in that Bears offense to grow.
Sure.
I think
agree.
Justin Fields is more athletic than Daniel Jones.
I think that's if we let's get the full body weight measurements, see who gets clocked at. I think Dan Jones has been clocked at a faster overall speed. So yeah, we can have that conversation.
Agility.
I actually think the comparisons are both there. I think they both have relatively the floors are safe enough to where you're willing to say, yeah, their legs make sense. And they should be going forward. They should be getting better, not getting worse. Second year in the offense and such.
Justin Fields, 17 passing touchdowns.
Okay.
For me, my number 8, Lamar Jackson. We've already kind of talked about Lamar. To me, the decrease in rushing touchdowns, him going out of his way to say he's going to throw the ball more, which, again, I don't really know what to make. The fact that he has to learn a new system, a guy who clearly has issues with the organization. Maybe he's not. You don't think he has issues with the Ravens?
They got it done. They're good. Everything's good. It's business, Sean.
Yeah, clearly he's got some sort of COVID attraction. In
hindsight, that might have been holding out.
Back-to-back years without finishing the season, to me, is a red flag in fantasy. It's tough to project Lamar Jackson getting to 17 games. We just haven't seen that out of him. We haven't seen him playing at a high level, and there's just going to be so many changes. There's going to be Odell Beckham you got to get used to, who is not a guy that will take to the fact that he's a number 2 or he thinks he's a number 1. Learning the new Todd Monken offense. Like, I think there's just a lot of hurdles for Lamar Jackson to clear. I see the bounce back opportunity here. That's why I do have him in my top 10. I just got him at 8. I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback.
I think the offense change though is like a clear. I think it's like the Chargers where it's hard to see it as a negative for the quarterback. I hear the argument of him learning a new offense is a fair one, but I think just in general, conceptually, it has to make him a better quarterback, or he's not the guy we think he is, which is I think what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just a little skeptical of Lamar. Like he had some moments. Obviously, his MVP season was great. Hasn't done much in the playoffs and has struggled to finish the season the last 2 years. Yeah, to me, that's not top 5 material.
It's that per game average that is appealing. That's what it is.
All right.
All right. So 9.
9. What do you got?
Well, shout out to Tuanon and the Miami Dolphins. When I made my list, Sean, I think you saw me doing this in Notepad just by memory, just listing off all the quarterbacks, which, by the way, my rankings go all the way down to 38. So robust. And as I started shuffling guys around, again, reflecting on the thousands of dollars of best ball drafts that I've done already, and when I'm clicking guys, and boy, I found that, you know what? I do end up taking Tua occasionally, even if I haven't drafted Waddle or Hill. I think the way that he was able to benefit from the offense down there, he's like I said, one of the 40-point games last year. Tua has. Tua had a bunch of dog shit games where he was in and out of concussions. He had some ceiling games because the receivers around him are great. I just think once you've gotten to this point in the draft, again, we're talking managed leagues.
Yeah.
I'd rather draft Tua here a little bit earlier and maybe have to deal with dropping him later because the upside, not a lot of guys have 40-point upside at this point.
I was going back and forth for my number 9, and you sold me on sliding Tua in there. I know I've had.
Listen, last thing I'll say, with all those concussions and all that shit, he still finished 15th in total fantasy points. He finished 11th in points per game.
No, and again, in a managed league, I think you still need those spike weeks, and Tua gives you that opportunity. I think, again, in the same way I said you can only be so bad with Justin Jefferson and playing a bunch of games in a dome, a la Kirk Cousins, I think the same applies for Tua. He has a horrible release. He's not that good. He's not going to win a ton of playoff games, but when you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, you're going to be able to create some opportunities. Even Chain, maybe they get Dalvin Cook. Like, there's a world where this Miami offense continues to be a handful for teams.
They've added explosiveness. They could get Dalvin.
They were able to put up points in that playoff game on the road against the Bills without Tua. You're selling me on Tua. I'll put him in at 9 as well.
They were able, I think I've listened to a couple interviews with Mike McDaniel, and I do think that one of the things I appreciate about him is he's like, well, when we know we're going to get into an offensive scrap, we have to score a lot of points.
Yeah.
And so I think just having the philosophy that to try to score a lot, try to outscore teams sometimes, even though they've improved their defense as well, again, it's hard. There's not many other guys down here that I think have the same spike potential.
Yeah, Devin Achane, I think will be a nice little addition there. I mean, that's a lot to manage as far as just the field itself, Hill, Waddle, Achane. I think he's really going to have his hands full. So I'm going to co-sign Tua there at number 9. Ryan, finally, who is our number 10 fantasy football quarterback? I'm going to kick it off here, and I'm going to go with the rookie. It's not surprising to see a rookie sneak into the top 10. Don't see him coming, rushing upside. Give me Anthony Richardson.
Stop it.
I love Shane Steichen's play calling. I love that
you have him over Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean. Sean.
What?
Sean.
I mean, he might get 16 passing touchdowns, right?
Oh.
I think the read option stuff that they're going to run with Shane Steichen and the Shane Steichen offense with Jonathan Taylor, with Anthony Richardson, is really going to be pretty electric fantasy-wise. You're playing a ton of games in a dome. He's going to get you points late. He's going to get you points early. You play in the very, very soft AFC South. I love Anthony
Watch
Richardson.
your mouth. Mike Vrabel will cut his dick off.
I just think they're, again, you don't realize what having – I'm just thinking about what Jalen Hurts did in those last couple games he started as a rookie.
Glad you said
what
that.
he did in 2021.
You're being incredibly disrespectful to Jalen Hurts. We keep
No, but I think
keep comping Anthony Richardson to guys who have performed and then taken a next step on the NFL level. Cam Newton, Jalen Hurts. Let's use Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was fucking successful everywhere he's been. Everywhere he's been successful. He came to the NFL. Or we went to Oklahoma first, successful. Came to the NFL. He's grown as a player every fucking year, and we're comparing him to a guy who has a bunch of fucking athletic ability who looked like shit on the football field last year in college. I don't think any offensive scheme makes this dude Jalen Hurts right away.
No,
or even
no.
Justin
with
Fields.
Jonathan Taylor. I don't think you like the rushing quarterback with a good running back like Jonathan Taylor. That combo can really help carry an
Malik
offense.
Willis and Derrick Henry. That didn't work very well because no one believed Malik Willis could do shit with his arms. That's like that. I guess where I'm going is I don't know. Anthony Richardson's not that good. That's my take. And I think for your take to be accurate, he would have like Justin Fields was great in college. He was great in college. He's not a great pro yet. And he was able to produce fantasy points because of how great he was as an athlete. If Anthony Richardson was this amazing athlete, where did it show up in college? Why did we not see it? I understand, shitty coach, whatever excuse you want to make. Just think it's very, very hot. Very hot take.
Isn't this why we're here,
Very
Ryan?
hot. Jared
Give
Goff.
the people what they want. Hot takes.
Very hot. Very hot. So I actually I have a bit of a I was fully prepared to come out here and have a certain take, but then I as you were saying your pick for your number 10, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a late swap here and put I'm never gonna put Deshaun Watson in my rankings. I'm actually gonna slot. It's not C.J. Stroud either, who was the original number 10. He just got bumped to 11.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot him up the string. Kenny Pickett.
Ooh. All right.
Because I realized I want to talk about him. We discussed his PFF rating down the stretch over the last 6 games of the season. He was the highest rated PFF thrower. Take that with a grain of salt. We know we love George Pickens and that chemistry. Deontay Johnson quietly was still a 10 target a game kind of guy. Pat Freiermuth growing in the offense. We love Najee Harris and Jalen Warren as a running back combo.
Yeah.
I don't think we're talking enough about the weapons that he's set up with. And what did I say earlier? I think we could quietly see some shootouts in this all of a sudden quarterback heavy conference of the AFC North. Baltimore, Cincy, and even Cleveland to some extent, I think could end up playing a little bit faster, more offensive styles of football this year, which is crazy to say about our Steelers, Sean. But yeah. I'm gonna say Kenny Pickett figures it out.
Can he?
He didn't have any of the fancy stuff last year that we look for. None of those 30-point games.
No.
But that down
Workman like 12 points per game or whatever he had.
Well, yeah, and I should actually pull it up. But the angle here is more like that team, once they figured it out, once he figured out his interception problems, they started to trust him. And I don't think they're going to be a bell cow back kind of team. I do think we're going to see a lot more Jalen Warren and Najee Harris in the passing game. And that always helps with the quarterback. And like I said, I think, someone on that team is going to pop for a nice 10 touchdown season and going to be a steal in fantasy. It's either Pickens or Freiermuth. Maybe. I don't know who it's going to be. But what really got me down is after I made my list, I pulled up my best ball exposure. And while I have a tremendous amount of C.J. Stroud, you made a great point. It is a Shanahanian offense. He is a rookie. I do love him. He's right on the outside looking in. But the idea of putting Kenny Pickett in there makes a lot more sense because of, I think, what he's set up to do and being in the second year. So let's fucking go.
So as far as guys we both left off Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's almost an honorary Cowboy at this point for some reason. Soft. I don't do Clemson quarterbacks.
4 interceptions in that game. I'm still not completely sold on Trevor Lawrence. I know everyone saw him go 9-8 and they're like, I'm completely in on this Jags team. I'm a little skeptical and I'm worried. I don't know. Like I'm a little worried about the Jags essentially winning their Super Bowl by winning a playoff game. Doug P. year after the Super Bowl could be a little tougher than people are thinking. Obviously, Dakota Rain Prescott never making it on our list. Geno Smith, I know some people are pretty high on him. Just doesn't.
Geno's right there for me.
Again, Geno is an eye test for me. Like I thought he really fell off there second half of the season. I
would go as far to say, like, I almost think like the top 9 feel. Yeah, I would even say top 8. Like I would go after my Tua pick. Like that next tier of quarterbacks, a typical managed year. But I think if you don't get one of the guys who can clearly run or Herbert, Burrow / Mahomes, I think you just kind of wait take the last of a bunch of guys.
Yeah,
here.
and I think like Matt Stafford again. I've been kind of high on him, especially if that defense sucks for the
Aaron
Rams.
Rodgers, Russell Wilson.
They're all kind of kicking around in that same area. Stafford to me is the fun play in best ball because I think because of Cooper Kupp, because of the Rams defense, like his upside is massive.
Yeah.
I couldn't get him into my top 10 here for regular managed leagues, but for best ball, I still like him a lot as your second quarterback.
Yeah, I was looking at my. It's like Tua, Kenny Pickett, C.J. Stroud, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Rodgers, and Wilson.
You have to know when to call.
All of these guys, and then it's like even down the board. I've been drafting Derek Carr, Sam Howell a lot more. You know, I'm a big Sam Howell guy this year. Yeah, I don't know. It strikes me as a year where just like any other, I'd probably look to get one of those top 8 guys on my team if I'm doing a managed league because otherwise you're streaming quarterbacks.
Yeah, which sucks in a 12-person league. Hey Ryan, we got 1 down, 3 more to go as far as our positional previews.
Excellent.
Well, who's up next?
Running backs.
Running backs. Everyone loves fellow boomers love a good running back, of course. Go to underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Smash that subscribe button. YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. Toss us a nice rating review over on Apple Podcasts. As always, a big shout out to the Blue Wire Studios people for having us. And our fantasy preview continues. Let's go. Next episode, more fantasy. Top 10 running backs. Kramer, give people, do you have a hot take for running back?
I'm no Cowboys on my top 10. So.
Okay.
Is that hot? I see Tony Pollard.
Everyone
top
loves
5.
Tony Pollard. He had a almost like a horrible injury in the last game of the season. No one. How am I the only one who remembers
How do you
that?
project injuries? It's not something that you can do with any sort of accuracy.
It's not. He's not going to be good. All right.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green, and he is Ryan.
Let's go, DJ.
Kramer. Let it ride. Yeah, I guess we didn't start right at 10.
I normally have the stream clock